Hey guys, it's Garrett from Dr. Muscle, and today we're going to review the famous app Starting Strength. For those who may not be aware, Starting Strength was developed by a famous strength coach by the name of Mark Rippetoe. It's been around for a while. It's had a huge impact on the strength community, and I personally have used it myself. At the same time, Mark Rippetoe can be a bit of a divisive person. People either tend to really like him or they hate him. Anyways, today I want to give my unbiased review of it and actually look at the program and why I may or may not think it's actually as good as it's supposed to be. To be clear, the Starting Strength app is literally just the Starting Strength program that's been made to be used on your phone. It has all the extra little gadgets, tracking, and all that good stuff. So basically what we're reviewing is just like the program itself, and is it appropriate for everybody? So like right off the bat, being called the best strength app, I don't know if that's really true. I think it's a great app for a very specific group of people, but by and large, it has too many issues to really say that it's for quote unquote for everybody. Real quick, the program is like extremely simple, which is actually one of the reasons I do like it. It consists of 6 exercises, and actually during the first phase you're only using 4, and then in the second phase you add exercise, and the third phase you add another exercise. These are your big movements: your squat, deadlift, overhead press, clean and jerk, and the chin up, and that's literally it, and the bench press. And on top of that, you just run a simple 5x5 linear progression. Linear progression is you keep the same rep scheme, and you simply just add weight every week for progressive overload. So as far as that's concerned, that's great. Beginners, linear progression works. It's a little bit boring, which we'll talk about, but it works. It worked for me because like I said, I did use it. That being said, now that I'm older and I've studied a little bit more and I have a little bit more experience, there's some huge issues with it that I really don't understand. The first major issue is no back pulling exercise other than the chin up, which you don't even get into after for a month or two. Still, there's no horizontal pulling. The only back exercise is a deadlift, which is technically you could say it's a back exercise, but there's no range of motion on your arms for your back. Everything's happening as isometrically, which again is not bad, but there's no pulling. There's no concentric, eccentric movements going on. And in fact, even with the deadlift, which is another issue, you do the deadlift 1 set of 5. When you do the squats, for 1 week you do 6 sets of 5. So you're doing, even though the one back exercise that does exist, you're only doing 1 set of 5 compared to the squat, which you're doing 6 times. In addition, you're also doing bench press and overhead press, which I love. Nothing wrong with that. But the point is, you have two pushing exercises, yet no pulling exercises, and there's really no good answer for it. He even addresses it, and basically he says that he doesn't really explain why. He just says, if you substitute the power clean with the barbell row, you're not doing my program, which is another issue. I've said before that even when I do prescribe a Starting Strength program, I always modify it because there's no back exercises. But Mark Rippetoe himself is saying that you're not doing my program. So in reality, we're not really prescribing his program per his words. But just in general, that's one of the fundamentals of training is you have your movement patterns. You want to hit every movement pattern, and you want to do them somewhat evenly, and there's completely off balance. I mean, like I said, there's no pulling exercises until you get to chin-ups, and the squats completely overpower the deadlifts, and there's no good reason why, except that deadlifts are strenuous, but so are squats. So it really doesn't make any sense, and there's really no reason for it. So that is enough for me to say this. It's not the best program. Related to that is he's very restrictive in his program, and he can be very hostile towards other forms of training. He has very strong opinions about trap bar deadlifts. He has very strong opinions about high bar squats. Like with starting strength thinking you have to do low bar squats or you're not doing the program. And while there's nothing wrong with low bar squats, again, when I'm looking for a program that's the best for everybody, I want a program that everybody can use, and not everybody is able to do all these exercises. Not everybody is able to do low bar squats. Some people do have back issues. Let them do a trap bar deadlift. Why is that such a huge issue? Some other things which are, it runs a linear periodization, 5x5 every movement, and it's just that's so limited in our rep schemes that one, it can be boring, which in the boring, again, that doesn't make it bad, but at the same time, adherence is a huge factor. And if you're bored and you don't do the program, it doesn't really matter. It wouldn't hurt to add some variability in there. Change it up a little bit. Do some sets of 8. Do some sets of 12 once in a while. At the same time, linear periodization, you can only run that for so long. And this is known. He says this, but again, it's only going to last you maybe 6 months, if that. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but if you were to add some of that variability, rep scheme, throw in some different exercises, you could run this for a very long time. But again, that's I can't really fault him for that because that's not really what it's supposed to be. But at the same time, if we're looking at beginner trainees, I think simply adding those aspects into the program, you can still keep the 5x5, all the lifts, no issues with that. But throwing the row, throwing some dumbbell work, any type of variability just to keep a little bit excited, add a little bit different stimulus because they're so limited. If you have knee issues, you're not going to use it. If you have shoulder issues, you're not going to use it. If you have a bad back, you can't use it because he's very clear that you cannot use any other exercise in this program or else you're not doing this program. And like I said, as I've gotten older, I've learned that to be a good coach, to have optimal training, you need to have that variability in there, and it just doesn't exist in there. Like saying, there's another app called Dr. Muscle, which basically fixes all of that. It's actually really, really cool because it's calls itself a personal trainer in the pocket, right? And it really almost is that. You download it, you put in all your information, and it actually has specific information like, do you have injuries that need to be accounted for? Do you have any areas that maybe you're missing? Maybe there's an injury, maybe you have small calves or something, right? Or you want a little bit extra work on your delts or your chest or back, whatever it is. And what it does is not only does it ask you that, but it will create a program that properly addresses it. At the same time, it grows with you because it's not just a set program, but it adapts to your needs. As you progress and get stronger, get bigger, you put that information in there, it reads it, and it adjusts properly. So, that being said, you could use Dr. Muscle for the rest of your life. And like I said, it really does produce programs that a qualified trainer would actually produce. That's likely because the founder is an actual PhD holder in exercise physiology, and he knows exactly what he's doing. All that being said, that's my review. I would definitely say that Dr. Muscle would be a much better choice for someone looking to build muscle and build strength. All right, thanks for your time, and hope to see you next time.